Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, continuing to take a look at all of the coaching changes across the country. And today we head out to Logan, Utah, where Utah State is trading one Andersen for another. The Aggies agreed to mutually part ways with Gary Andersen back on November 7th, and just recently hired former Arkansas State head coach Blake Andersen to become the new head man of the Aggies. So we're going to break down why they parted ways with Gary Andersen, a very weird career for Andersen as a head coach, and what Blake Andersen brings to the table now for what was now in 2020 a struggling Utah State program. So you take a look at Gary Andersen first. This was not his first stint. This was not his first stint in Logan, guys. He went 0-3. Utah State went 0-3 in 2020, and they agreed to part ways after that 0-3 start. It brought Gary Andersen's record in Utah State to 7-9 in his second stint. He went 26-24 with the Aggies from 2009 to 2012, and that included an 11-2 season in 2012. So it was a weird tenure because he went from Utah State to Wisconsin, then Oregon State, then Utah State, and every time he just never stuck around. He never really stuck around at each of his coaching stops. It's just been a very odd career as a whole for Gary Andersen, and it just didn't work out the second time around in Logan. So they agreed to part ways in November, spent a little while trying to find their new head coach, and they landed on Blake Andersen. Blake Andersen coming in from Arkansas State out of the Sun Belt, and, they were in a similar situation as Utah State, where Andersen and the Red Wolves mutually agreed to part ways. The Red Wolves went 4-7 in 2020, and I think both Blake Andersen and the university were looking for a fresh start. He had been there for 7 years, went 51-37, made 6 bowl appearances, but I think each were looking to kind of move on and get a fresh start on things. Blake Andersen, as we all know, was a big headline in 2019 after the loss of his wife, Wendy, losing her battle to breast cancer. And an amazing battle it was, really. An amazing story it was in 2019. Devastating, but the fight that we saw, Wendy strong, for the entire year of 2019, and the response we got from Arkansas State and just the college football world as a whole was just heartwarming. It was amazing. And I think, Blake did an amazing job dealing with that loss. Did an amazing job handling that, empowering through that. Came back in 2019, coached the Red Wolves for the remainder of the year, won their bowl game over Florida International. 2020, struggled over the course of the year, had a big upset at Kansas State, but were unable to get anything going in Sun Belt Conference play, going just 4-7. I think he was looking for a fresh start, to get out of Jonesboro, move out west, get a new start at what many would consider a step up in the coaching ranks, now in the Mountain West with Utah State. And I think he got that, and I think Arkansas State respected that, agreed to part ways, didn't really have any issues with the contract, with the buyout, allowed him to do that, and got their new head man in Butch Jones. So it worked out well for both. But Blake Andersen coming out to Logan now, again, you look at the job he did at Arkansas State, you don't need to disrespect it. 51-37, 6 bowl appearances, 2 Sun Belt Conference titles, the last one coming in 2016, won 3 West Division crowns. So this was a sustained success. 2020 was his worst year with the Red Wolves. And again, you pair that with injuries, you pair that with COVID, you pair that with cancer. All those things combined, you can't blame him for a rough season in 2020. You just can't. Can't really blame anybody, I think, for that. So an unreal run in Jonesboro for Blake Andersen. And now he heads out west to Utah State. And I will tell you what I know. I will tell you what I know about Blake Andersen and what he's going to bring to the table at Utah State, because some of you may know this, I am a current student at Arkansas State University, so I've had the privilege of meeting Blake Andersen. I've had the privilege of being around Blake Andersen for the last few years, and if you watch him on the sideline, if you know him in person, you know he's a very, very passionate coach. He loves the players. He's very passionate about his players. He's not afraid to let you know what he thinks. He's extremely energetic, and he's going to get the best and the most out of you. Not just his players, but his staff too, every single day. He's going to get the most out of them every single day. He's going to do anything it takes. He's going to work tirelessly to get the job done. And he's a brilliant offensive mind. He had a couple of different stops before he landed at Arkansas State as an offensive coordinator. Was an offensive coordinator at North Carolina at one point with Larry Fedora. And I think he's going to bring that offensive success now over to Utah State. And you look at some of the hires that he's made again. One of the brilliant hires I think he made out in Logan was bringing in Anthony Tucker, who was the co-offensive coordinator at Central Florida last year. Well, if you know anything about football, you know how great Central Florida's offense has been, not just last year, but over the last few years. But last year in particular, Dylan Gabriel lighting it up for the Knights down in Orlando. Andersen recruited him to come out to Utah State. He's the offensive coordinator now for the Aggies. He brings in Chucky Keaton. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he was a star player, unreal player for Utah State from 2011 to 2015, was responsible for that 11-2 season in 2012. Chucky Keaton, the former quarterback, coming in to coach running backs. A little bit interesting, but bringing a guy in that knows the area and knows the culture, knows what Utah State's all about. And I think that's an excellent hire from Blake Andersen because he doesn't know what Utah State's all about, but he's bringing in guys that have a history there, that love the program, just like he will soon love the program, probably already does, and can help recruit in the area and help everybody understand the culture out in Logan. That's impressive. I think that's important for any brand new job, to bring in guys that genuinely love the program, whether it's an alum, a former player, a former coach, whatever it is. Bringing someone in who knows that program well, that's huge. That is key. And Blake Andersen knew that, and he got the job done there. So he has made some fantastic hires already for a Utah State program that, again, was in a bowl game in 2019, really petered off, was arguably one of the worst teams in the country in 2020. Blake Andersen's hoping to flip that around and make them a perennial bowl team and hopefully Mountain West title contenders very, very soon. Let's take a look at what he has going into 2021. You look at the schedule. Not easy for a first-year head coach in a brand new conference and kind of uncharted territory for him. At Washington State, BYU, at Air Force, at San Jose State, the reigning Mountain West Conference champions, went undefeated up until their bowl loss to Ball State. They do get to host Boise State, though, who is also under new management. We'll talk about the Broncos here in a few days. But very, very difficult schedule there, and some of the toughest games that he has are on the road. Air Force, San Jose State will absolutely be Mountain West title contenders again in 2021, and he has to go on the road for both of those. So the schedule's not easy by any means. That's 5 games there that Utah State could very well be underdogs in. There's no doubt about that. But if anybody can get the job done, defy the odds, and get them to a bowl game with a schedule like that, it's Blake Andersen. So you look at the grade for this hire, guys. What are we going to give it? Tremendous, tremendous respect for Blake Andersen, the job that he's done over the course of his entire career. I have so much respect for him and the job that he's done. We're going to give this grade a B+, this hire a B+. I do not think it's an A category. I don't think it's an A-level hire right now. But you look at the numbers here, you look at the track record, Utah State just landed a guy who has sustained success at a Group of 5 program. 7 years at Arkansas State, went to a bowl game every single year except for 2020. Again, a year where they went 4-7, and a year where we were all hit with a global pandemic. I'm not going to hold that over him. I'm not going to say, hey, he should have gone 7 for 7. 6 straight years at Arkansas State. He stayed for 7 years at Arkansas State. Remember, a lot of people were using A-State as a leverage job. Gus Malzahn was there for 1 year, then went to Auburn. Hugh Freeze was there for 1 year, went to Ole Miss. Brian Harsin was there for 1 year, went to Boise State. They landed on Blake Andersen. Everybody in Jonesboro thought, is he going to stay for 1 year too? And he stayed for 7. That's a big deal. And if anything, to me, that shows loyalty, which you should have, everybody should have in the college ranks. Sustained success at a Group of 5 program. And let me tell you what, if he can do what he did at Arkansas State, at Utah State, every Aggies fan, everybody in the city of Logan should be thrilled. If he comes out to Utah State in the Mountain West and just makes Utah State a perennial bowl contender, makes them a perennial bowl team, and every now and then has this one big breakout year where he wins a conference championship, pulls off a handful of upsets, if he's able to do that, you have nothing to complain about. Because we know, guys, I mean, look, it'd be great to see a Utah State, San Jose State, something like that contend for those New Year's Six bowl spots, and maybe they can. But I think with the rise in the American Athletic, those days are slowly but surely slipping away. Teams like Cincinnati, Central Florida, Memphis, American Athletic, their strength of schedule, their quality of opponents are better than that in the Mountain West. And that's just the facts. People like that in the Mountain West need to just be hoping to get to bowl games and trying to win their individual conferences. Something that Andersen and the Aggies can do. If he continuously gets them to bowl games, every now and then contends for a conference title, he can keep inking those contract extensions. He can keep living like a king in Logan. Because that's what they need right now. They need stability. He brought that to Jonesboro just a few years ago. He can do it now in Logan. No doubt about it. A B+ hire for Blake Andersen. One Andersen for another in Logan. This one's going to stick around for a while, though. And this one's going to be very, very successful. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at The Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. I'm telling you, everything there is for you to help you get through this long and grueling offseason. Extra college football content left and right down in the description. Go give it a look. I promise you're not going to regret it. Everything down in that description. Go check it out. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.